How's it going, everyone? Welcome to yet another episode of the MMA Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're a brand new listener, well, welcome. I hope that you enjoy the podcast, and if you're coming back, well, thanks again too. Thank you so much for your continuous support. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment, man. Tell me how you really feel. You know, oftentimes I ask people or I ask you guys, like, give me some feedback about what I'm talking about. Because I'm coming in here, I'm saying a lot of shit about fighters, about anything in general, and I just want to know where I'm standing. Am I wrong? Am I okay? I don't know. I want that feedback. Just please don't be a dickhead about it. Give me some constructive feedback, please. Big fight week. This week we have UFC 296, headlined by none other than Rocky Leon Edwards versus Colby Chaos Covington. Should be a really good fight. This is one of those fights that, you know, occasionally we get those really great fights that don't live up to the hype. But I truly believe it in my heart that this one will go up to the fight. I have a feeling that it's going to go up all the way to the 5 rounds, and it's going to be a unanimous decision. It might be even a split. So that's my first official prediction, is it's going to go all 5 rounds. Just because Colby is not easy to put away. Leon is not easy to put away. And both men have good cardio, good shape, good pace. Colby's is a little better, though. Colby's cardio and pace is absolutely insane. And for what I've seen, he's been training up in the mountains in Colorado, so at a higher elevation. Now he's going back down to Vegas and probably going to have some type of breathing advantage, right? I don't know what elevation Birmingham is at, which is where Leon trains. But should be a good thing for Colby. He already has insane cardio and pace. Now that he's fucking trained in elevation, forget about it, bro. It should be a good fight. I hope it is actually. However, we do have some great fights right before, starting with the main event on the prelims. We have Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. And a lot of these fights that I'm going to talk about, and then also some of the previous fights that we've had these last couple of fight nights, I've noticed a trend almost with the UFC. It's been a little bit of giving a old seasoned veteran, giving him a young, fresh fucking savage, right? And this is what we're seeing right here. We're seeing a almost 40-year-old Josh Emmett go against a 29-year-old Bryce Mitchell. Savage. I mean, both of them are savages, and Josh is obviously a seasoned vet, and he's an absolute fucking monster. But when it comes to jiu-jitsu, bro, and going to the ground, going to the floor, I don't think Josh Emmett is going to have a response for Bryce's jiu-jitsu. Don't get me wrong, Josh Emmett is good, and he did get submitted, if I'm not mistaken, when he fought Yair Rodriguez. And yeah, I'm looking at that right now. He did. So he's coming off of 2 losses. He lost for the interim against Jair, and then he lost against Topuria, which has the same thing for Bryce. Bryce also is coming off a loss. Well, not this last one. He just defeated Dan Ige, but on September. But then before that, he fought Ilia Topuria and also lost. But other than that, he's being almost undefeated. He only has 2 losses on his record. Josh Emmett has 4. So it should be a good matchup, right? We do have, however, the case of a striker versus a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. And I'm saying, bro, if it goes to the floor, I think Bryce is going to get this dub, right? He did lose against Ilya, and that is the only kind of knock that we have on him, but he then came back and won. And he did say when he fought Ilia Topuria that he was sick. So that should be, interesting to see how I hope he's healthy, at least we don't know, but a full healthy Bryce Mitchell will do against a Josh Emmett. That should be a very, very interesting fight. Then we have Vicente Luque and Ian Gary also at welterweight. A lot of welterweight in here, actually. Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary. Ian, the alleged cuck area. Not my words. There are Sean Strickland's words, not my words at all. I actually like Ian Gary. He's a fucking monster. The one kind of thing that I had to say about him before was that, he's always talking about how he's this amazing striker. And honestly, he is not that great of a striker. Like, he's a good striker, don't get me wrong, but he's hyping himself up as this amazing striker. However, if you look at his record, a lot of it is decisions. He does have some TKOs as well, but out of his last 5, only 2 were TKO. And then you have decision, TKO, and then 3 TKOs in a row, which it helps him. But actually, that was before the UFC. So in the UFC, he only has 3 TKOs and 3 unanimous decisions, which is not bad. Undefeated, it's crazy. He's completely undefeated, and at this level, it's something ridiculously hard to do. So props to him. I'm not knocking him at all. And like I said, he's a great fighter. I think he's actually going to be a champion within the next, I don't know, 2 to 3, 4 years, I would say. He's your welterweight champion of the world. But he definitely has a tough matchup against someone like a Vicente Luque. And again, going back to my theme, if you remember what I said, you have a seasoned vet versus a new up-and-coming guy, right? Now, Vicente Luque is not old. I thought actually he was older than he is, but when I started looking at this, he's 32 years old, so technically still in his prime, versus a guy that is only kind of getting in his prime, right? Ian Gary is 26 years old, so should be a really good fight. Both orthodox, and then their fighting styles. They have Vicente Luque as a striker and Ian Gary as a mixed martial artist, and that's another trend that I see nowadays, and that people talk about all the time, is that some of these new up-and-coming guys, they're not just wrestlers and they're not just strikers. They are mixed martial artists from a very young age. From when they started, they are going to an MMA gym, right? Versus someone like, let's say, Colby Covington, started purely as wrestling. And then as he got into MMA, then he started training striking and all that good stuff. So the opposite is for Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards started also as a kickboxer and as a striker, and then improved on his wrestling. So definitely a good matchup there, but we'll talk about that later as well. My official prediction for this one, I would say it's Ian Gary. I love Vicente Luque, but I think Ian Gary is on a path and it's on a come up, and he just has to win. That's all. He has to win. However, if he were to have his first ever defeat against Vicente Luque, that's not terrible, because you're fucking fighting a legend, right? So if you lose against a legend, it's not terrible, really, in my eyes at least. It's a loss on your record, obviously, but they're also not that far apart on the rankings. I think Ian Gary is 10 or 9, and Vicente Luque is also around that. Let me double check. Yeah, Ian Gary is 10 and Vicente Luque is 9. So not that much of a difference as far as if you lose, you probably won't fall that back off, right? You'll probably stay at 10 or maybe go to like 11 or something like that. But should be an interesting matchup though. And yeah, I have Ian Gary winning, I would say by unanimous decision, or something like a round 2 or 3 TKO. I think that could definitely happen. I'm not a drama channel. I'm not here to talk about any of that, but Ian Gary has obviously been in the conversations of many people here in this past couple of weeks because of his wife and a book she wrote, and then came out that, her ex-wife was living with her ex-husband was living with them, and then on top of that she's much older than him, and he took her last name instead of the other way around. So a lot of people are calling him a cuck, right? Again, that's not me. I don't think he's a cuck. I think he married a much older woman that I don't know why he took her last name. That's the one thing that I'm like, whatever. I don't care. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But that's one thing I'm like, why would you take your wife's last name? It's a cool name, Machado. Actually, I like it. It's Brazilian. So it goes hand in hand with the MMA world. And maybe that's why. Oh, okay, hold on. Maybe that's why he took that last name, because of the Machado, right? Because there's been some Machados in the UFC for sure. So all from Brazil. Brasileiro. So that should be a good fight to start off the main event. Vicente Luque versus Ian Gary. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So then we have a fight that needs no introduction, brother. We have Tony El Kukui Ferguson versus Patty the Batty Pimblett. This one is also, bro. Am I a wizard or what? Like, go back to the theme that I was just talking about minutes ago. Old seasoned veteran versus a young up and coming savage. This is what it is. This is the exact definition of that. This is Tony Ferguson. If he loses, it will be 7 losses in a row. Bro, dog, that is not a path you want to go down. That if he loses this one, I think he really, really, really should consider retiring. Which is so crazy for me to say because, I mean, Tony Ferguson is one of the biggest names in the UFC period, no matter what weight classes. And when it comes to lightweight, he's one of the lightweight GOATs. Even Patty says that himself. So for Tony Ferguson to go out there and get mollywopped on the first round, bro, if that happens, you need to seriously consider retiring. Which it's so sad because I absolutely love the guy. But, you know, he did look good. Some of his previous fights, he looked okay against Nate Diaz. He just looked a little slow, but both of them looked a little slow. They're both older guys. Against Chandler, he looked really good the first round, and then obviously the second round he got destroyed via, head kick. So it's tough because also this is a fight that Patty. If I was Patty, I don't know. I don't know if I take this fight. I mean, you are defeating a big name, which is amazing, right? And it's more clout to you, but you're also defeating one of the most loved guys in the sport, bro. And if you go out there and you humiliate him, is it gonna do you any good? And also, if you go out there and lose, fuck, that might be even worse, bro. Well, actually, it's worse, but if you go out there and lose, people are going to say, oh my God, you couldn't even defeat an old washed Tony Ferguson. And I think Patty even talked about that in one of his interviews, that it's a loss for him. Because if he wins, it doesn't really say a lot about his skills because they'll say you defeated an old man. But if you lose, it'll be, well, you lost against an old man. So, I don't know. This fight doesn't do anything at all for Patty. I think it'd just be a way for him to get a good win with a big name under his belt. I think it's similar. It kind of brings me back to when they did AZ versus Anderson Silva. It has that same kind of feeling. So I hope it's a good fight. I hope it's competitive. I hope Tony shows us something really good, especially because he's been training with the man, with David Goggins. So we'll see what that does to him. Maybe that improved, for sure, it improved his cardio and his strength and his mentality. That's a big one too. But as far as his technical skills, are they improved? Is he gonna come out there and show us something we have never seen before? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. So when it comes to Patty, we know he's a good striker. What I like about Patty is that he's very explosive. He's fast. He's fast and young, and he's got some power. But his jiu-jitsu is really what shines for him. I think that's why if he's going to defeat Tony, it's going to be via submission. So that's my official prediction, even though I don't want to bet against Tony Ferguson. I probably won't put money on this one because I just can't, bro. Even though putting money on Patty might be a little bit of easy money, but putting money on Tony would just not make a lot of sense. So, yeah. I definitely have Patty winning, especially because I think Tony should just retire. I think he should have retired his last fight, his last couple of fights, really. I mean, the moment you hit like 3 or 4 in a row, 3 is like a lot, right? If you don't get cut, obviously retire. But if you go 7, and then what? Is he gonna come back again and hope that on the 8th attempt he tries it and he does it? I don't know, bro. I don't think that's going to happen at all. So I truly believe that if Tony loses, he should retire. And again, going back to my same theme of young buck versus old seasoned vet, Patty is on the come up, bro. Patty is on a path that he will also probably be champion in the next couple of years. Probably more for him, probably like 3 to 5 years. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't. This fight does not make a lot of sense to me. I think it's just a way to have Patty defeat a big name, right? A really big name in the UFC, which it's always good for title aspirations. So that's my official prediction for that. And the age difference on this one is crazy. It's 39 versus 28. So you're gonna have to see what plays a better role, experience or having a fresher body, right? So then we have Shakhmat Ragmanov. Is that how you say his name? Shakhmat? Sorry. Shavkat Ragmanov versus Steven Wonderboy Thompson. This age difference is also kind of crazy. It's 40 versus 29. Again, I'm not, bro. This is not a conspiracy. This is not none of that. I'm just reading out the years, and so far, every single one has had a 10-year gap difference. Same with the last pay-per-view that we had when on the pay-per-view that Benil Dariush fought. All the gap ages there were fucking 10 years, bro. It's insane. I don't know why lately they've been giving us this fights like this. I don't know. It's crazy to me. But again, 10-year gap difference. I'm getting a phone call, spam call. This one should be a good fight though. However, there is an obvious kind of difference here between the fighters. Obviously, we have a Rachmanov who is an outstanding wrestler because he's one of those Sambo people. So, Khabib, Islam, Khamzat Chimaev, that Sambo style is absolutely disgusting. And if you get grabbed and you get taken down, good luck, bro. I think it's going to be a wrap for Wonderboy if it goes down to the floor. That being said, every fight starts on the feet, like everybody says, and Wonderboy, it is a hell of a striker. He could easily put Rachmanov's lights out with some crazy spinning kick or a good punch, but when it comes to being a good striker against a good wrestler or against a grappler, is that you cannot risk yourself that much. Because let's say you throw some sort of left hook or something like that, right? Or a head kick. You're now exposing yourself for a takedown. I think Rachmanov doesn't give a fuck about that. I think he's going to come out and shoot the very first second of the fight. I call it right now. I call it that he's going to shoot over under, I would say, under 15 seconds of the fight. That's how confident I am that he's going to shoot. 15 seconds. I'm going to time it, bro. 15 seconds, Shavkat shoots, right? And then all Wonderboy has to do is obviously stuff the takedowns, easy said than done. But if he's able to stuff some of the takedowns, of the initial takedowns, and then keep it on the feet, we're going to get a different fight. We're going to get a much confident Wonderboy that could potentially piece Rachmanov up. But that being said, Rachmanov is also a good striker. He's not like a karate guy like Steven, but he is coming off 4 submission wins and 1 TKO against Harris. But other than that, it's been all submissions, right? And Wonderboy also had his, where is his record? Here it is. He had that fight against Big Mouth Kevin Holland, who he won. But before that, he lost against Gilbert Burns and against Bilal Muhammad. So those are not bad losses to have, especially because they're just unanimous decision losses. So that's not terrible. Before that, he was coming off a win against Jeff Neal and Vicente Luque. So still around and still in good shape and still showing us that he can kind of compete at a high level. Is it a high enough level to be in the top 5, top 3 though? Especially at the welterweight division, I don't think so. I think that there's another of those guys that if he were to lose this fight, he might consider retiring, but again, he looks so young and he himself looks so fresh that I just don't know. I don't know if he will actually consider retiring. However, it is a good matchup. It is 2 big names, Rachmanov and Thompson. So, Stephen Thompson. I cannot say it now. God damn it. It should be a good fight. Kickboxer versus wrestler. And it hurts me to say this, but I also give this one to who do I give it to? I give it to Rachmanov. I think, again, I'm giving it to all the young guys, and it's been proven that that's the way you want to go. I mean, with the last UFC we had, it was proven. If you have an old guy versus a young guy, just bet on the young guy, and 99.9% of the time, the young guy's going to win, because the old guy, I don't want to call them washed, but obviously they're not at their peak anymore. They're not at their, prime. And it's just tough, bro. It's tough because nowadays, when someone, like we were talking about earlier, when someone joins an MMA gym, they train strictly MMA their whole career versus someone that has only trained striking or only has trained wrestling. So I'll say Rachmanov. I'm going to say by unanimous decision, so that's my official prediction. But it could also be either a TKO or a submission round. I'm going to say submission round one. Submission round one. Yeah, so next we move on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Alexandre Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I do not know a lot about Brandon Royval. However, looking at his profile here, I noticed that he, first of all, already has a loss against Pantoja and a loss against Brandon Moreno. So, no knock. Both champions. That's all right. However, he does have 3 wins back-to-back. And the thing that I also noticed when I look at his records is Pantoja is labeled as a BJJ guy. However, Brandon, again, is labeled as an MMA guy. So, a little bit more well-rounded. Now, from what we saw in Pantoja in the Brandon fight is that he gets hit a lot. Not amazing striking, but decent boxing. But he does get fucking hit a lot. So if Brandon Royval is able to, I was going to say keep it on the feet, but if he goes to the floor, he's also good on the floor. He's got a couple of submissions wins as well. So both of these guys really are able to well-rounded guys that can pull something off. If I had to guess, if I had to make a bet on this one, I will give it to Brandon Royval. I think it's going to go the distance. It's a 5-round fight, so I think it's going to go 5 rounds, unanimous decision, Royval. And I don't know about Royval's... Sorry, another phone call. God damn it, leave me alone. I don't know about Brandon Royval's cardio, if it's good or not. I doubt he's ever been in a 5-round fight. And Pantoja already did. He didn't look that great at the end of the fight. I mean, neither did Brandon, to be fair. Both of them look extremely tired. So it's going to be just a fight of who can have the most technique and who can kind of pull off the most points by the end of the fight. Because I think this fight is going to decision, if I had to guess. So I'm gonna say Brandon Royval by either unanimous or split. I mean, bro, if Pantoja wins another split decision, to have your championship realm so far, your championship, I said realm, but reign so far be 100% split decisions, it's not good. It's really not good, right? Because he had to split against Brandon. And if he gets a split against Brandon, they're both Brandons? Okay. Against Brandon Moreno, but then if he has to split against Royval, it would not be that good. And before that, he had 2 submission wins. So he is good on the feet. We know that. But Brandon, like we already said, is a little bit more well-rounded and experienced. So it will be an interesting fight. I hope it's a good fight. I hope it's a good co-main event and it lives up to the hype. I don't think Pantoja or Royval are huge names just yet either. So it will be interesting to kind of see what happens, right? Is it going to live up to the hype or not? So interesting choice for a co-main. Very interesting choice for a co-main. I would have thought that maybe would have used a bigger name guys. But anyways, it's a good fight and I hope it lives up. So now we come up to the main event of the evening. So again, we have Leon Rocky Edwards versus Chaos Colby Covington. I haven't been able to bin on TikTok and scroll 5 TikToks without seeing a Colby Covington TikTok. I mean, this guy has been on fire on the internet recently, and it's not him. It's really not him posting anything. It's just all these fucking people that are all of a sudden are Colby fans, dude. When he fought Kamaru, everyone was Kamaru fan, but now everyone's fan of Colby, and I get it. Leon, fuck. How would I say this without being mean? Leon is a boring fighter. That's just the way it is, bro. He has hella unanimous decisions, and when he fought Bilal, he had a no contest. The only recent knockout he has is against Kamaru, but other than that, it's been all decisions. Decision, not contest, decision. Like, brother, do you just not go for it? And that's the one thing that, I mean, his last TKO, not counting the Kamaru Usman, his last TKO was 2018. Other than that, it's been splits, unanimous. Bro, the amount of unanimous I'm seeing right now is insane. I think Colby, with the pressure he has and the cardio he has, can overwhelm Leon into a possible mid-round TKO. I would say like a 3 or 4 round TKO. I think that's going to be the factor. My official prediction, yes, I'm giving it right now, is Colby Chaos Covington is going to win either by unanimous or either by split. No, not split, sorry. KO or TKO, my bad. Now, Leon, don't get me wrong, is an amazing fighter and he's a super technical fighter. Does everything right. He makes no mistakes when he's in there. And that's not easy and that's hard. And obviously he defeated Kamaru in the rematch fair and square. And the second fight, he also defeated him by KO, but he was losing the fight completely. He was getting dominated by Kamaru. Let's not forget that, bro. Let's not forget that. He was getting absolutely mollywhooped by Kamaru. And then on the last round, he just caught him with a head kick, and it happens, right? I talked about this last year when it happened in this same podcast. I said, hey, after that second fight, I said, Leon is still a worse fighter than Kamaru. I still consider Kamaru a better fighter. All right, then we had the rematch, right? And Leon also won by majority decision. Now, on that one, I think it was more, not to take anything away from Leon, but I think it was more of like a Kamaru just not performing. I think it was more of a Kamaru being afraid of getting KO'd again and just not having as much confidence in himself, because he got TK'd the fuck out in the last fight, that he just wasn't performing. He thought he could skate down to a decision victory and it just didn't go that way. So, it's a little bit tough because Leon, again, a really good fighter, but doesn't take much risks. If he would be happy, he would be extremely happy with a decision win, with a unanimous decision or a majority decision, or even a split. He would be super happy with that. I don't think he wants to really risk going in a phone booth with Chaos. If it happens, though, it's pretty much a 50-50, right? I mean, we see it all the time. If two guys start just completely throw technique out of the way and start throwing, it's pretty much a 50-50 chance, right? But if it works, it works. And it's a better win, in my opinion, than just a split or a unanimous, right? Sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit. And I think sometimes, especially when you're fighting Colby, you have to knock him out. If you're going to defeat someone that talks so much shit, you have to knock them out, bro. You have to. If he goes out there and wins by split, I mean, what does that do? What does that do for him? I don't think it does much. I think he has to absolutely go out there and perform, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Colby is going to show that fucking pace and that pressure. By the way, also, if it goes to, let's say, a split or a unanimous, I think Colby will take it because Colby is the one constantly applying pressure. And we know that when it goes to those type of last decisions, last resorts, a lot of the judges look at the octane control and the pressure, right? Who had the better pressure and who was the aggressor in the fight. And that will 100% be Colby. I guarantee you, Colby will not let Leon breathe for a second. We're gonna see pressure on pressure on pressure on pressure, and just not letting him breathe. I mean, we saw him against the Masvidal fight, against even the Kamaru fight, just insane pressure. And by the way, when I rewatched the Kamaru fight, the second fight with Kamaru and Colby, I think I already said this, but he was doing good at the end of the fight. I think he was definitely losing the first 2-3 rounds. I think he even got dropped. But the fourth and fifth round, he was piecing up Kamaru. It was a little bit of 50-50, but he landed some great shots. If he can do that with Leon just a little bit earlier in the fight, if he can show some of that earlier in the fight, he's got it, bro. He's got it in the bag. And also, I rewatched the Masvidal fight, and then also he also got dropped. I think it was at the end of the third round. So I saw a pattern of Colby mid-fight kind of getting dropped in both of them. It happened twice, so he has to be careful with that. He has to make sure he doesn't get dropped by Leon. But if he does, that's okay, bro. But just make sure you're showing the better pressure and land some good strikes, but earlier in the fight. He waited till, also with the Masvidal fight and the Kamaru fight, he waited a little bit longer in the fight to kind of show some of the big striking and some of the bigger punches, right? And I think with the Usman fight, I think he was kind of relying too much on his wrestling. And turns out Kamaru was an amazing wrestling. Who would have thought? And he did. That's a question if he took him down or not. I sometimes give it to him, sometimes not. It was a very quick takedown. It was a knee to the mat and then got right back up, right? Do you count it? Do you not? I think DC was saying that he did count it, but you put a guy on his knees and he gets back up immediately? Like, what? That's like jabbing someone in the shoulder or something like that. Like, psst, does that really made any damage? Like, I don't think so, right? I don't think it makes anything. So he has to be careful with that. If he is going to take Leon down, make sure you keep him down. Now, Leon is no punk on the ground either, bro. We saw him against the Kamaru fight. He almost... That's another thing that you could say. Leon damn near submitted Kamaru. He had him on his back on a choke. Colby did not get anywhere close to that with Kamaru. So again, MMA math doesn't work as well a lot because, again, Leon defeated Kamaru twice and Colby lost to Kamaru twice, so it doesn't work that way. I don't think it's going to be as easy as a fight for Leon because of that, right? People say, oh, Leon had already defeated Kamaru twice and Colby lost to Kamaru twice, so obviously Leon's going to win. Nah, bro, I don't think it works that way. It shouldn't work that way because then we would have some horrible matchups. But I do think Colby can get it done with the pressure, with keeping the good cardio, getting takedowns, and getting some big strikes. And trust me, if it goes to decision, you'll get it. You'll get the title in the bag. I don't know. I don't know where I'm a Colby fan. I think it's all his TikToks. He is a very, very rough shit talker, though, right? And that's one thing that I don't like so much about him is that he makes it fucking personal, bro, in order to sell the fight, which is cool. It's good for entertainment, but if you get defeated, it looks bad. It looks really, really bad. So anyways, it should be a good fight. Definitely going to watch it. So that's my official prediction. I'm going to say Colby Chaos Covington by unanimous decision, or I'm going to go and say round 4 TKO. I said it. There we go. I said it. Either way, next week I'll be here to talk about it. So I'll break down what happened and I'll say what's next for everyone. I have a spicy potential matches up that I'm thinking on my head for the welterweight division. But again, we have to see what happens with this fight. Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. So we have this fight, right, obviously. So the winner between Colby and I don't think Edwards is going to get a rematch right away, the way Kamaru did. Just because he hasn't been a champion that long. Obviously, he only has one title defense. So no immediate rematch for Leon. Can we all agree on that? No immediate rematch for Leon, right? So then we have some other welterweights fighting in that same card. So we have Rachmanov and Thompson. Now, if Rachmanov wins, I don't think he's up next for the title, but I do think he's up next for a number one contender fight. Now, who is he going to fight? This division right now is absolutely fucking stacked. A couple names come to mind. Bilal Muhammad comes to mind. However, I don't think Bilal Muhammad is going to fight for a number one contender fight. I think he's going to be up next for whoever wins between Leon and Colby. Trust me, it'll make more sense in a bit. Just bear with me. So we have Bilal Muhammad fighting the winner of Leon and Covington. We have Shamad Rachmanov, if he wins, obviously, or let's say the winner of Rachmanov and Thompson fighting the winner of Vicente Luque and Ian Gary. It makes perfect sense because all the way, you have the top two fighting, you have the middle fighting, and you have the top 10 fighting, right? It makes perfect sense that if Ian Gary wins, he will fight someone like a Rachmanov or a bigger name, right? However, you have a lot. Honestly, that's my official prediction, but I wouldn't be upset at a lot of the names here in this division right now. It's stacked. You have Sean Brady, you have JDM, you have Kevin Holland, who probably needs a couple of wins, but you have Gilbert Burns still in the mix. Obviously, Bilal Muhammad, who I think is next for a title. Hopefully he's there. If he's smart, he'll be at the fight and he'll call out the winner. Because, bro, my man is up next, bro. He's been up next for like 5 years, dude. My poor guy cannot get a break. And he's been having some serious training, with Khabib and those guys. He was on their camp. I don't know if he's still there, but, he went that route. So good for him, bro. Good for him. That's definitely no punk of a camp. I mean, those guys take it so seriously. It's crazy. They don't party. They don't drink. They don't fucking jerk off. It's a nightmare, bro. I don't know how people live like that. Anyways, I will be here next week to break it down. So I'm going to show you, come back and tune in. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I appreciate you all. And make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. And catch you all on the next one. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.